So we're gonna get into some self-help, self-care. Um, a lot of us know we need to stretch more. Have been shown what to do many times. Have taken several yoga classes. We still don't do it. I'm just going to encourage you one more time. I mean, as we get older, and most of you are, um, stretching becomes more and more important. And probably had we done more when we were younger, we'd be even more comfortable today. So I'm going to give you kind of my basic cheat sheet. This works for most things, for most people. If you have specific questions, you can reach out to me at trainersteve at Gmail, of course. Um, Start with the foam roller. Handy thing to have. This is actually a rumble roller. It's got lots of little knobbies on it. You can get a basic foam roller, longer, whatever. Doesn't really matter. This is a personal preference. It travels well and it gets into the tight spots really easily. Big rollers are nice if you're new to them. They're gentler. This is a very aggressive roller, but I love it. So first place I like to hit on the body, and this goes for all humans, is the calf, the lower leg. All right, so from the ankle up to the knee. Now there's an argument to be made for spending some time with a golf ball on the bottom of your foot. If you have a golf ball, and you probably do, while you're working at your desk, while you're doing some stand-up time at your desk, put the ball on the floor and do that throughout the day. It'll feel wonderful. Get it up into the knuckles and around the arch and the heel even. Massage the heel. So the calf, we get the foam roller on there, and generally we want to put some extra weight on that. So I'm going to cross my other leg over, and then I'm going to kind of prop up, almost like a bridge, and I'm just going to roll. And I'm going to tilt my foot, or my whole, kind of roll my whole leg side to side as I'm going up and down the muscle to get into the different gnarly spots. Now without the pressure, you'll still feel it, especially if you're new to this. But if you've been doing this for a while, you may need some extra pressure. Think a good massage therapist leaning into you with her elbow or forearm, right? So the calf, and you want to try and get as much of the meat of the calf as you can. You'll find some hot spots, give them some extra tension, both legs. From there, I generally like to move to the front thigh. So the front thigh, pretty simple. We want to stay away from the actual knee, but for most of us, probably around the halfway mark or just a little bit lower down the thigh, up to the hip crease, we're going to find all kinds of garbage. What do I mean by garbage? Really tight, painful bits. Now, you can do this with lacrosse balls. You could do this with a medicine ball. I'm going to stick with the foam roller. And again, a smooth roller would be more gentle. And you can get hard and soft rollers too. It's crazy. So I'm just going to get my body kind of on there. Roller's just above my knee. And I'm going to put as much weight into that leg as I can, kind of guide myself back and forth. Now I'm going to take this up all the way. So top of my thigh bone, or the femur, is right about here. And I'm crossing into the hip socket and across and over the front pubic or pelvic bone. So that the ASIS, they call it, right? So right here, I just ran that roller right up across, and there's a crease. And that's what you want to hit with the roller, right up into your belly. And you want to try and relax into that. So kind of up here, boom, 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 and across the hip bone, and I'm just going to let it sink in. Some big, deep belly breaths will help your abdomen relax. Sink into it. And do that for as long as you can stand. Roll back down. Find other hot spots. You can kind of tip up, get to the outer thigh, and you can actually come all the way onto the outer thigh. I'll give you a caution on that in a second. But when we're here, this is a fun spot to get. So I'm now back into that hip socket here. And the roller just fits in. And I'm just going to rock on the roller. So from here is what it looks like. So what I want to do, so the caution with the thigh, right? I wouldn't roll further than about halfway on the side. All right. It's questionable whether it's beneficial to you. Leave that to somebody with better skilled hands, right? So from about halfway up is good, but there's a pocket. So top of the, the big hip bone, prominent hip bone is sitting here. Just below that's a big pocket of gnarly muscle. You get that roller in there, right? And it just fits in. It just feels like it's fitting in between a couple of bones. And you just rock kind of forward and back, forward and back. Okay? So front thigh, we're up into the side of the hip. All right, if you have a lot of knee pain, another spot to hit tends to be the inner thigh. It's a little trickier to get with the roller, but it can be done. What you want to do is try to get the roller position so that it's running perpendicular to the muscle fibers, right? So generally kind of straddling the roller like so with my knee bent, and now I can just drop the weight of my thigh onto that roller, roll all the way up into the groin. And if you find some tight stuff in there, feel free to move the leg around, work on it, roll it out, get it loose. Tight's not good. Painful's not good. So inner thigh, and then, so front thigh, inner thigh, the side of the hip, big, and we're going to talk more about that now. So glutes, always want to hit the glutes. So I'm going to work one cheek at a time, as it were. I want to get as much weight into there as I can, big dense muscle. And you have, kind of sitting straight on. I'm almost sitting up on the SI, bottom of the SI joint right here. And if I start to tip, I'm in the middle of the glute, roll. Now I'm back into that side pocket, okay? And I can just roll in here, all right? But you want to get all of these areas. And another spot, after you've done that, I like to come back, cross that leg over, lift that knee, and drop that hip back in, and roll right through the piriformis, the really tight, cranky sucker under your glutes. So this kind of opens it up, and this gets the roller in there. Okay, so hips, we can take a little further up to the top of the hip bone, and even just across it. There's another little pocket between, so you get the back top prominent part of the hip, and you get your ribs are right there. I mean, it's just a tiny little area. But you can get that roller in there. Right on the edge of the hip generally is best, but get in there, experiment a little bit, but you'll find that there's some gnarly stuff in there for a lot of folks. If you've got any kind of tightness in the hips or back, you'll probably find something here. And I'm just kind of going back and forth over the hip bone. So this is all of those right there, yeah. So, boom, okay. So last place we'll talk about the lats. Right, so we're getting in here, kind of one side back edge. So my shoulder blade is sitting right here. I'm going to stretch that arm out. I'm going to lay in right in the shoulder, palm turned up. You can't quite see that, but I want my palm turned up, thumb pointed back. And I'm just going to kind of roll in here, down through the shoulder. I'm now kind of up against the ribs, and I'm tipping back a little bit to really get into the meat of the upper lat. And I can take this down. Okay. All the way up into the armpit again. I'll even, a lot of times, go on the other side and hit the top of the tricep. Right there. Yeah. Right in that gnarly bit there. Okay. There's some stuff that gets persnickety with me. Tightens up sometimes, and I'll get some tingly stuff in the arm. Probably is also a reason I have tendonitis that recurs. But yeah, so work the lats, find the bits that feel uncomfortable, and spend some time rolling those out. All right, so we'll be back in part 2 with some stretching.